Experts from the Council of Europe have not only confirmed that vote buying occurs in Albanian elections, but also that money, employment in administration and documents to legalise dwellings are all used as currency in the phenomenon. The first aid and health service to tourists remains one of the challenges for a successful tourist season, but in an attempt to combat the issue, health centres open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week are being opened. The Ministry of Health and Social Protection, assisted by working groups, will identify children who are being exploited for economic reasons and will prosecute their parents. Good evening, it's 6 o'clock on Tuesday the 12th of June 2018. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Alexandra and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country, translated into English. The chair of the Democratic Party has declared that if we want to be a part of Europe, Fatmir Jafai must resign from the government as soon as possible. Lulzim Basha stated that Edi Rama, Saimir Tahiri and Fatmir Jafai are the main obstacles on Albania's path to European integration. The opening of negotiations and Albania's European integration is not a process of advertising and lobbying, but a process of conducting ourselves with European behaviour. The facade has fallen and the government is naked in front of the world. The solution that we have before us is clear. Saimir Tahiri should be where he deserves to be, in prison with the other traffickers. If we want to be part of Europe, Fatmir Jafai must resign as soon as possible. If we want to be part of Europe, the government should fight against crime and corruption and not protect its culprits. Also, we must execute the electoral reform and stop, once and for all, the phenomenon of vote buying. Fatmir Jafai's resignation is urgent, as is to end the political defence by Rama for Saimir Tahiri, stated Lulzim Basha in his speech to the media, which was delivered from the party headquarters. The phenomenon of vote buying during electoral processes in Albania was at the forefront of a meeting today at the Special Electoral Reform Commission. Seeing it as a concerning issue, an expert from the Council of Europe, Quentin Reed, said that the buying of votes is a violation of the human right to choose. In analysing last year's election, Reed said that there was evidence of documents to legalise residential premises being used to buy votes and that such verified sales of the vote must be punished. 20% of Albanians have confirmed their votes were bought. 5 to 6% of Albanians were pressured to participate in political activities in 2017. It is difficult to maintain full secrecy of the votes in small communities, regardless of the technology being used, added Quentin Reed. At the conference titled Vote Buying and Other Offences Affecting Elections, the Council of Europe expert further added that electronic voting can help, but will not fully resolve the problem. The expert said that it must be first understood why the voters are willing to sell their votes. We must understand why this phenomenon is present. According to a civil society survey on 2017, 20.6% of Albanians were offered money for their vote. Meanwhile, 5.6% of Albanians have been pressured to participate in the activities of political parties. When selling votes, money is not the only currency. Even food is being offered in return for votes in poorer communities. Identity cards are being taken from citizens in order to vote for a respective party. Electoral monitoring by representatives of political parties is also of concern. Buying and selling a vote is a crime, and this phenomenon must be legally punished, concluded Quentin Reed. At today's meeting of the Electoral Reform Commission, discussions focused on preventative mechanisms of vote buying, a problem that is widely seen in the OSCE ODIHR report. The Socialist co-chairman of the Electoral Reform Commission, Bledi Čuçi, said the sale of the vote is not an issue just for a party, but for all of Albania, so it should be minimised. Also, Democratic MP Oerd Bulukbashi said that the problem of vote buying is not a new issue, though finding a solution is essential. Interior Minister Fatmir Jafai has demanded maximum police engagement in order to ensure tourists are well protected. At a meeting with prefects and senior police directors across the country, he underlined that expectations this year are extremely high. Interest is very high of both domestic and foreign operators in this area, but also the expectation of ordinary people, of citizens who expect a better service, several times higher. That means more responsibility must be taken to provide much higher levels of tranquility and security to citizens and tourists this season, outlined Fatmir Jafai. The Director of the State Police, Vlora, stressed that measures are being taken which do extend to providing additional security to vacationers. Albania is expected to see an increase of 15% in the number of vacationers visiting during the summer months. After school hours, in the afternoon hours, the young people and children of Administrative Unit Number 10 can train and play in the gym that has been reconstructed by the Tirana municipality at Kemal Mustafa High School. After the first 3 schools which joined the initiative to keep their doors open for residents of the area, Kemal Mustafa is now the 4th school that has put its sports facilities in the service of youth with an interest in participating in sport. Mayor of Tirana, Erion Veliaj, stressed that the opening of the gyms aims to encourage children and young people to do sport as an excellent opportunity to deal with physical activity, but above all, to shape their character with friendly but competitive spirit. Not everyone will become a champion, but this is not the essence of this project. The purpose is that even those who will not become elite basketball players have the opportunity to play in a team, learning how to handle both losses and victories. The reason I say this is the most important game is not on the sports field so much as in the field of life. How we treat each other in this city, how we share space with each other, how we help those in need, and how we respect the team are all closely linked, explained Erion Veliaj. The Mayor stressed that this is a golden opportunity for the youths of this unit, not only to mention the fact that some of the country's sports champions will be serving as coaches. He urged parents to encourage their children to give up their time at cafes and on their cell phones in order to register in the sports courses that are already being provided at sporting facilities across Tirana. Several weeks ago, the municipality of Tirana launched the project for opening all the gyms and sporting facilities in the country's schools, therefore making them available to young people who want to get involved with sport. 3 health centres have extended their opening hours to 24 hours, 7 days a week as of the 1st of June on Vlora's coast, as the city expects the highest number of tourists ever this current season. The always open clinics have been set up at the areas of Plažije Ri, Plažije Vjetar and Zvenec. According to Dr. Elona Djergi, who services the Plažije Vjetar Health Centre, there is an outpatient service and that all the tools and medicines needed for first aid are in stock. The service started on June 1st and will operate until September 15th. We offer a 24-hour service with 2 doctors and nurses, confirmed Elona Djergi. The tourist season has started, but the coast is still not receiving the expected influx of tourists due to the unpredictable weather that has characterised these recent days. Therefore, during this period, patients who have used this health centre are mostly residents of the area. So far, most of the patients have been residents of the area. Holiday makers have been few and far between, simply because they remain scarce in general, added Elona Djergi. 19 new doctors and nurses have been employed just for the tourist season to work in these summer health centres. Meanwhile, 17 ambulances are projected to stay along the coastline to provide first aid and carry patients to the nearest hospitals. This year has also seen improvements to the signage of health centres, ensuring that directions and contact numbers are visible from national and urban roads, as well as near the centres themselves. The Health Ministry's plan of measures for the tourist season are all aimed at avoiding victims suffering on Albanian beaches due to a lack of available first aid. If parents use their children for exploitation, they will be prosecuted by social services and risk being put in jail. Health and Social Protection Minister Manastirliu, in the presence of the Remakted Programme of the European Commission and the Council of Europe, announced that they would not tolerate abusive or spiteful parents. In addition to the punitive measures to be taken, social policies to help families in need will also be introduced to combat this problem. The Ministry of Health and Social Protection has undertaken an initiative for the immediate identification of and assistance for exploited children in a move to curb child labour, said Manastirliu. Working groups will be on the ground to identify children who are being economically exploited. The minors will receive immediate assistance and family members will be offered alternatives. The Deputy Director for the Neighbourhood and Enlargement Negotiations in the European Union, Mrs. Katarina Madrnova, has said that Albania has made progress in regards to legislation, bringing it in line with international standards and conventions. During 2017, 1,650 children were at risk served by the child protection units, out of which 387 children were identified as either economically exploited or involved in begging in the streets. The Council of Europe's Common Programme aims to help local self-government in some municipalities in Albania, such as Fier, Korça, Berat and Tirana, for involving minority communities in policy making and policy implementation at the local level. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.